My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest problems we face today is people meeting without sincerity, without purpose, and without any real intention. Many times, someone says, "Let's meet," not because they are genuinely interested, but because they are bored, curious, or simply seeking attention. They play with emotions like it's a game, and when hearts get involved, they walk away as if nothing happened. This is not the way of a believer. When you meet someone, your intention should be clean, your purpose clear, and your words truthful. You cannot enter someone's life with no plan and no respect for their feelings. You may think it's harmless, but you don't know what your actions could cause in someone else's heart. What you see as just talking could be what someone else takes as a sign of serious interest. We live in a time where communication is easy but sincerity is rare. You can message anyone in seconds, yet the sincerity behind those messages often carries no weight. People talk about marriage, friendship, or business without truly meaning it. They create false hope and then they disappear. This behavior is not just wrong, it's hurtful and it carries consequences. Allah has commanded us to be truthful in our dealings and to avoid deception. Even if you never make a false promise with your tongue, your actions can mislead others if your intentions are not pure. Every time you choose to meet someone, ask yourself, why am I doing this? What do I hope to achieve? If you cannot answer with honesty before Allah, then it's better not to meet at all. Every unnecessary meeting can open the door to emotional harm. What begins as a small conversation can turn into attachment, and that attachment can become heartbreak. Hearts are fragile, and once broken, they take a long time to heal. When you meet without interest, you risk breaking someone else's peace and your own. This is why the wise ones are careful with their words, cautious with their time, and clear about their intentions. They know that leading someone on, even unknowingly, can create a chain of pain. It is far better to say no politely than to pretend and cause confusion later. There is no shame in being honest, but there is great harm in being deceptive. The best relationships, whether friendship or marriage, are built on clarity and trust, not guessing games and mixed signals. If you're not interested, don't meet. Let people know your stance with kindness. It saves you from guilt and it saves them from heartbreak. You may think rejecting a meeting is harsh, but in truth, it's mercy. Because sometimes protecting a heart means staying away. So value your time, value your words, and value the emotions of others. When you act with sincerity, Allah blesses your relationships and fills your life with peace. My brothers and sisters, there is wisdom in staying away when your intention is not clear. Not every conversation deserves to become a meeting, and not every meeting needs to happen. Many times people say, let's just meet and talk, without realizing the emotional and spiritual impact it can have. You might think it's innocent, but hearts are delicate. What begins as casual interaction can turn into attachment, expectations, and eventually disappointment. This is why our faith teaches us to be mindful of our actions, to guard our hearts, and to avoid unnecessary interactions that serve no good purpose. When your reason for meeting is weak or selfish, you end up hurting yourself and others in ways you don't even see. So often people engage in conversations out of loneliness, boredom, or curiosity. They want attention, not commitment, company, not clarity. But such connections are temporary and dangerous. They distract you from your true goals, they consume your emotions, and they often lead to sin. When you talk without purpose, when you meet without seriousness, you open the door for Shaitan to interfere. He beautifies what is wrong, he makes the unnecessary seem exciting, and before you know it, you're emotionally attached to someone you were never meant to be close to. That's why discipline in communication is so important. It's not about being cold or antisocial. It's about being wise and protecting your peace. If you truly respect yourself and others, you will be clear about your intentions. You will not waste time in pointless meetings or meaningless conversations. When you are serious, be serious. When you are not, stay silent. It's that simple. Many broken hearts today come from people who kept saying, let's see where it goes. But where did it go? Nowhere? Because when something starts with confusion, it usually ends with pain. Honesty from the start saves everyone involved. If your heart is unsure, take time before meeting. Pray for guidance. If you realize you are not ready or not interested, then walking away is not rudeness, it's mercy. The people who live with peace are those who value their time and guard their emotions. They do not meet everyone and they do not open their hearts easily. They understand that love, trust, and friendship are sacred. When you meet someone with clear intention, you gain respect. But when you meet without interest, you lose integrity. Life is too short to fill with empty meetings and hollow conversations. You will be asked by Allah about how you spent your time and whom you gave your attention to. So use it wisely. Surround yourself with sincerity and keep away from connections that have no direction. Because the moment you start choosing purpose over pleasure, you'll find peace that no false meeting could ever give you. Sometimes, my brothers and sisters, not meeting is the most merciful thing you can do. People often misunderstand silence as arrogance, but silence can be protection for you and for others. When you know that you are not ready, not serious, or not interested, stepping back is a sign of wisdom, not pride. You may think that one meeting, one conversation, or one exchange of words is harmless, but in reality, it can plant a seed in someone's heart that grows into deep expectation. When that expectation is not fulfilled, it turns into pain. And what's worse is that you might not even realize the hurt you've caused. That is why faith teaches us to act with sincerity, to mean what we say, and to never play with the emotions of others. Leading someone on, even unintentionally, is a form of injustice. You see, when you meet someone without clear intention, you are allowing your desires to take control. You might say to yourself, it's just a friendly chat, or it's nothing serious, but that's exactly how Shaitan works. He starts small. He beautifies the minor steps until they become major mistakes. And once the heart gets involved, it becomes difficult to detach. It's far easier to prevent attachment than to heal from it. This is why wise people prefer distance over drama, silence over confusion, and clarity over chaos. They know that walking away early saves both hearts from unnecessary pain later. Meeting someone without purpose is like lighting a match near dry leaves. It might not seem like much, but it can lead to a fire that burns both souls. When you stay away, you protect not only your own peace, but also the dignity of the other person. Because love, respect, and honesty are built on truth, not games. It takes strength to say, I don't think this is right, or I'm not ready to meet. It's far easier to go along with emotions, but true maturity lies in self-control. When you act for the sake of Allah, He will honor your decision and replace what you let go of with something better. Remember, not every connection needs to continue. Some people come into your life as a lesson, not as a life partner or friend. Learn what you must and move on gracefully. You don't owe everyone your time, and you don't need to explain your silence when your heart knows the truth. Allah sees your intentions, and that's enough. When you choose to avoid meetings that could lead to confusion or sin, you are not losing an opportunity. You are preserving your peace and your faith. So if you are not interested, don't meet. Be respectful, be gentle, but be firm. Protect your heart from unnecessary wounds and protect others from false hope. Because sometimes the kindest answer is silence and the most loving action is distance. My brothers and sisters, when you choose not to meet without genuine interest, you are actually choosing peace, dignity, and self-respect. Not every person who comes into your life deserves access to your time or your emotions. Some people are sent as tests, not blessings, and wisdom lies in recognizing that early. When your heart is open to everyone, you allow confusion and emotional chaos to enter your life. But when you guard your heart and your time, you protect the purity of your soul. The truth is, not everyone who smiles at you has sincere intentions. Some people are simply passing through, and it's perfectly fine to let them pass without turning it into something more. Life is too short to entertain meaningless meetings that lead nowhere. When you refrain from meeting without interest, you are saving yourself from emotional exhaustion. You are keeping your heart reserved for the right people, those who genuinely care, who want to grow with you, and who value you for the right reasons. If you spend your time meeting people who have no intention of staying, you will find yourself drained and disappointed. Every meeting, every conversation, every connection takes energy. Why waste that energy on something that has no future? Value yourself enough to walk away from what doesn't align with your purpose. You are not being rude by setting boundaries, you are being wise. Allah loves those who act with wisdom, who protect themselves from harm, and who maintain purity in their dealings. True peace comes when you stop chasing temporary attention and start prioritizing sincerity. The world is full of distractions, and many hearts are restless because they keep seeking fulfillment in the wrong places. But when you align your actions with your intentions and your intentions with Allah's pleasure, you will feel a calmness that no false meeting can ever give you. You will realize that protecting your peace is far more rewarding than gaining shallow approval. You don't have to meet everyone who asks to meet you. You don't have to respond to every message or entertain every invitation. Your time is precious, and your heart even more so. Always ask yourself before agreeing to meet anyone, will this bring me closer to Allah or further away? Will it add value to my life or take away my peace? If your heart whispers doubt, step back. Sometimes walking away is not rejection, it's redirection. Allah removes certain people from your life because He knows their presence will distract you from your purpose. So let them go gracefully. Keep your heart light, your intentions clean, and your boundaries strong. Because the one who waits patiently for the right connection, rather than chasing meaningless ones, is the one whom Allah honors with the best. Remember, distance does not mean coldness. It means discipline. Don't meet if not interested, for your silence today could save many tears tomorrow.